Welcome to this session on planning and designing of dynamic web content site. Now, let's begin with learning outcomes of this session. After watching this video, you will be able to identify the website requirements, differentiate between static and dynamic website, explain the various phases of website requirement analysis, design, development, implement and testing process. Now, I am going to explain about various phases of website development process. As per web development life cycle, there are various phases are involved to develop a website. The website phases are requirement analysis or information gathering, planning, designing, development, testing, implementation and maintenance. Now, let us discuss about the first phase. Phase number 1, requirement analysis or information gathering. In this phase, that information gathering starts with defining requirement for a website. To define requirement, you should know the answer of the following questions. Why do we need website and what purpose? What are the aims and goals for the website? What kind of website model, like is it a commercial website or educational website, news publishing website, social media website, etc., etc. Or do you need static or dynamic website? So, you have to answer before starting the planning stage. Now, another question is, what type of website is required as per your requirement? So, this purpose, broadly websites are classified into static website and dynamic website. Now, let us discuss about more details on static and dynamic websites. Static website have web pages stored on the server and display unchanging content to the user. Static websites are coded in CSS and HTML, and the website pages can be updated separately in an HTML editor. Static websites are often small websites which include static information. They usually contains text, images, simple navigation menus. Static websites provide read-only information and will not permit the user to make any changes of the content. It is very easy to start and maintain. Dynamic websites are larger websites. Dynamic sites usually include hundreds of web pages with large amount of different content. Dynamic sites are connected to a database where the content is stored in an organized way. Dynamic pages get information from database and can be customized regularly and repeatedly according to the specific needs. To publish and update the dynamic website, you need special web design and web programming experiences. Okay. For this purpose, see the refer the table, following table, which shows difference between static and dynamic website. This is the table. You can see the difference between static website and a dynamic website. Static website provide simple HTML contents which cannot be changed or updated without a developer editing its source code. Whereas, dynamic web pages can adapt their content or appearance depending on the user's interaction, changes in data supplied by the applications. Static pages are simple, secure, less prone to technology errors and breakdown and easily visible by search engine. Most dynamic web content is assembled on the web server using server-side scripting languages ASP, ASP.NET or JSP, Perl, PHP, Python. Static website. To develop a static website, it take very less cost to design, develop and hosting the static website. Whereas dynamic website it involves high cost and requires web development expertise to design, develop and hosting a website. Static website, easy approach to design, to develop and hosting a static website, whereas dynamic site is need a systematic approach required using client side scripting techniques like XML, Ajax, Flash techniques or some action script etc. may be required. Now, as part of requirement analysis and information, you have to answer like more questions, that what do you or your institution or organization gain from the creating and maintaining a website. And another important question is, what kind of content need to be provided for on your website? Are they looking for specific information, a particular product or service or online ordering? Another important questions about information gathering, what are the target audience, what technology or device they will use and access your website. You should also know about how about your software development and the team members skills and their deliverable capabilities to develop a website environment. So, if you have answer for the above questions, then you are able to define your requirements and objectives of your website. Now, already just heard about web development team. Now, little bit we will discuss more about web development team. Small websites can be maintained by one person, but large sites require a group of personnel to develop and to do the variety of roles. The team members may require to develop a well planned website. Now, we will see that in a role of where is the web development team. System administrator is the person who take care of technical issues like firewalls, internet ports, internal security, file administration and backup procedures. You need to have to consult with them to determine your website's default file name and directory structure. They also can generate reports that will tell you how many visitors your website is viewed across the world and where the visitors are coming from and what pages they like the best. There is another part of development team, developer. They are programmers. They are playing vital role. That developers are the people responsible for creating HTML code and troubleshooting the site. Most HTML coders now are using HTML editors to create a code, but any self-respecting HTML coder knows how to open the HTML file in a text editor and code by hand. The coders also are responsible for testing and evaluating the site across different operating system and web browsers. Designers. Designers are the graphic artist responsible for look and feel of the website. They will use design software such as Adobe, Photoshop, the industry standard graphic design program, etc., which involves various tools. Tools will be used by designer to contribute the pages, template design, navigation icons, color schemes, logos and making setup animations, etc. Now, we will discuss about content writers and information designers. Writers prepare the content for online display, which includes designing hypertext information and navigation paths. Additionally, writers should be responsible for creating a site style guide and typographic conventions. The writers are responsible for consistency, grammar, spelling and tone of the content. Programmers write the programs which you need to build interaction to your website. They may write a variety of applications including common gateway interface, script, JavaScript and backend application that interact with the database. database administrators. These database administrators who are responsible for maintaining the database play an important role in commercial website. They make sure that your data is accessible and safe. Now, you should know about your target audience. Target audience of your website. To identify the potential audience for your website so that you can structure the site designed to meet their needs and expectations. Analyze your audience and produce an audience definition, a profile of your average users. To find your users, answer the following questions. What are the questions? Who are typical member of your audience? Are they male or female? What level of education do they have? What is their reading and vocabulary level? What level of technical aptitude do they have? Why do people come to your website? Do they want information? Do they want to download files? Are they looking for links to another website? Will other sites link to your website, or will your site provide links? If user unfamiliar with the site visit, will they know what you offer? How often will users return to your site? Do they have a reason to come back? So, these are the questions need to be answered. Then only you can think about going for organizing your website content. Now, we will discuss about organizing your website content. Basic content of your website should be accurate, attractive and well written. The information of the website should be structured and logically organized. This will help to retain your audience. There are 5 steps are required to organize your website content. Those 5 steps. The step 1, inventory of your content. What are the content you have already and what content do you need further? Their navigation elements. Step 2, establish a hierarchical outline of your content, site structure and navigation elements. Step 3, chunking. Divide your content into logical units with a consistent modular structure. Step 4, draw diagrams that show the site structure and rough outlines of your pages with a list of navigation links. And final step 5, analyze your system by testing the organization interactively with real users, revise again as when needed. Now, we will look more detail about directory structure of your website. So, when you complete your website, you will be publishing your files on the web by transferring them to a web server. A typical web server has a user area that contains folder of each users. Your files are stored in your user area. The directory structure of the web server affects the format of your website URL. The following figures shows the typical web server directory structure. If you buy a domain name for your website, you will have a URL that reflect your path in the public area of domain name. A user enters the following address in the browser to access course website. Example, www.xyz.com/course COURSE. This is the course is the directory structure. It has the topmost, it's on web server, then it has 4 directory: courses, academics, student information and result, and these directories has their own subdirectories that has the file name text.html, ext2.html, pic.picture file and index file, etc. site structure. Now discuss about site structure. Plan your website by creating a flow chart that shows the structure and logic behind the content presentation and navigation. You can sketch your site with paper and pencil or create it using flow charting software. Sometimes it is helpful to use sticky notes or cards to plan the structure visually. This method lets you easily move pages from one section to another section or another level. Once you have started coding the site, it will be much more difficult and time consuming to go back and make major changes. Remember to create and stick the file naming conventions for each of your pages, which is readable and familiar to other development teams. Use following examples as starting points and design from there. Let us discuss about linear structure. The linear information structure illustrated in figure lets you guide the user along a path. This structure lends itself to book type presentation. Once into the content, the user can navigate backwards or forwards within the content path. Each page can contain a link back to the main page if desired. Pages may contain links to a related subtopic. If the user jumps to the subtopic page, then they only can return to the page that contains a subtopic link. This structured navigation returns them to the same point in the content path. You can see the diagram. Main page, it has 5 pages, and each 5 pages it has a subtopic. That is the example of the diagram. Now we will see another structure which is called tutorial structure. The tutorial structure builds on the simple linear structure which is shown in the figure. The user navigates in linear manner, progressing through the concept, lesson and review pages in order. This tutorial structure, because the lesson exists in hypertext, user can leave the lesson structure and return at any time. They also can choose the order of lessons and start any main concept point they wish. Notice that table of content, index and sitemap pages are linked to and from all pages in the course. Within each lesson, user can navigate as necessary to familiarize themselves with the content before they review. This structure can be adapted to fit the content needs. For example, the group of pages in the illustration could be one section of larger training course. We will see now another web structure. This is one of the web information structure. Many smaller websites follow the content structure illustrated in figure, which offer links to and from every page in the site. This allows the user to jump freely to any page from any other page. If you build a website of this type, make sure to include on each page clear location information and standardized navigation bar that not only tells the user where they are, but where they can go. Another web information structure. Now we will see the hierarchical structure. The hierarchical structure illustrated in the figure is probably the most common information design. User can scan the content on the section page and then choose the content page of their choice. When they finish reading the content, they can read, they can return to the section page. The sitemap allows the users to navigate freely through the website. Include the navigation bar on each page that lets the user jump to any section page, the main page and the sitemap. Cluster structure is illustrated in figure is similar to the hierarchical structure, except that every topic area is an island of information, with all pages in each cluster linked to each other. This structure encourages exploration within a topic area, allowing the user to navigate freely through the content. All pages contains a navigation bar with links to the section pages, main page and sitemap. You can see that cluster information structure with section page, sitemap, main map and section page. From this diagram, user can navigate from subsection to section page and then section page to main page. So far, we covered the phase 1 for requirement gatherings.